What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a new release film that I got a chance to catch the Thursday afternoon premiere. I saw this movie at like 3 o'clock. It's so weird for me because I used to work at a movie theater for a really long time. When I worked at the movie theater, when I was younger, it was really interesting because I was around a lot of premieres. I was used to doing like the midnight premieres. Now it's like movies come out Thursday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was really excited to go watch this movie because, as a lot of you know, I love art house films. I love really important pieces of cinema, but I also like Disney movies. I've always really enjoyed Disney Pixar in particular. A while back on the channel, it's been a long time now, I did a 2-part video where I actually ranked every Pixar film from that period onward, wherever. I think Luca was the most recent release from when I did that. Pixar has been kind of hit or miss over the past couple of years. I feel like ever since the film like Post Soul, I feel like there's been some films like Onward and Turning Red that I just didn't really get into. I feel like the passion doesn't seem to be as there as it used to be. Like films like Turning Red have some good ideas, but they just aren't executed as well as something like a Ratatouille or an Up or a Wall-E or even any of the Toy Story sequels. And so now I'm a little bit more skeptical when it comes to Pixar because they're not always as consistent with their releases. And so when I saw the trailer to Elemental, which is the film I'm going to be talking about today, the trailer didn't really pull me in all that much. I wasn't super invested in it, but I went in with an open mind and I look forward to talking about it today. Elemental is directed by Peter Sohn. In a city where fire, water, land, and air residents live together, a fiery young woman and a go-with-the-flow guy will discover something elemental, how much they have in common. So as I said, I didn't really know what to expect when I went to watch this because there hasn't been a whole lot of reviews going around from early screenings. I did see a couple positive reviews from it, but didn't really know all that much what I was getting into, and I really enjoyed this film. I don't think it's Pixar's best, but I do think it's really entertaining, and I think it has a lot of really good messages that kids will get a lot out of. It's very on the nose, but for children who need to hear messages like what Elemental is trying to put out there, I think it's a really cool piece of filmmaking, and that's my favorite thing about a lot of what Pixar has offered over the years is creating stories for children that oftentimes have very adult themes and are very poignant to what people have to go through on a day-to-day basis. And I'll reference that a little bit in the review. So this film tells the story of Ember, who is a young girl who her parents immigrate into this town filled with elements. So when they moved there, they were in a place where it was all fire people, and they move into this place. When they get there, it's a mixture of fire people, water people, air people, there's tree people. It's all of these different people that kind of coexist together in this city, but they are all kind of separated out at the same time. You can tell that the cliques of these people stay pretty close together, and there's this thing with Ember's dad that he is very against like water people. He's very hesitant to intermingle with the other elements that are there because of his preconceived notions that he has and how hard he's had to work to build a place where fire people can feel accepted. And there's a lot early on in the film that kind of shows how fire people are treated in this community. Because of a lot of that unnecessary hatred towards them, he's built up hatred towards other groups of people. But at the same time, he has this business that he's built from the ground up. They sell food products to the fire people, and they've essentially become a pillar in this fire community that all these other businesses have built up around. Well, his young daughter is getting to a point where he is going to retire. Ember is going to take over the business. She struggles with the customer interaction. She doesn't really do a great job building those relationships. She struggles with that. And one day when she's given the responsibility of the store, she has a blow up and causes one of the pipes to burst in the basement. Well, when the pipes burst, she's introduced to Wade, who is a water person that got trapped in one of the pipes. He's a city inspector. The two of them go in this chase sequence because he says he finds 30 violations that he has to report to the city, otherwise he's going to lose his job. And it turns into this string of events where the two of them form this unlikely relationship together amidst the pressures that she has from her father to take over the business, from the pressures on the world for these two people, whether they can be friends or build a relationship because they're two different elements environments and how that will be perceived from the world around them, and the film goes on from there. So this movie was really fantastic because of what I'm saying about the subject matter. So if you heard my little description here, one of the things about the movie that's very blatantly obvious to a lot of us adults that are going to be watching the movie, it's a film looking at how immigrants are treated in the world, especially in the United States of America. The beginning of the film, when the parents come in, the guy who's at the immigration office that stamps their papers gives them names because they don't speak the language, and says this will be easier for people, and they have to learn the language and build up the culture. And they try to take their daughter to this place where they can see this flower that can grow in any type of condition, and there's signs up that say no fire people everywhere, and they're not allowed in. And there's such a heavy commentary on racism and cultural hatred and things that people, minority groups and people of color have to deal with, even looking at what LGBTQ people have to go through right now. There's a lot about culture having preconceived notions about certain groups of people and forming that into a level of hatred. And obviously for us adults, that's going to be a very easy thing for us to pull from the film, but I think kids watching this, and I even heard kids talking to each other in the middle of the film, they're going to pull something really important from that. And these two characters come from very different worlds. Ember comes from this family who's worked really hard to get to where they need to be. Wade comes from a family that seems to be wealthy, where the family is able to pursue art and be able to do the things they want. And Wade is a very emotional, empathetic, compassionate person that people are drawn to. They go to this sporting event at one point during the game, and he kind of bands all these people together and gets them all lively and happy. And he's someone that everyone really likes and appreciates. And so the two of their personalities are seemingly different, but they come together at a point where the two of them need each other. And I thought that that was really cool to see two different people from two different worlds and how they explore what each other are going through. And I think the film handles it in a really great way. The first act of the film has a little bit of a hard time finding its footing. I didn't dislike it, but it seems to take a little while to get going into the story, because this isn't a really heavily high stakes movie. It's not a movie that it's like crazy thing after crazy thing is happening. Very simplistic, kind of like almost hangout movie with one plot arc that kind of holds the entire movie together. But it's so much more about these interpersonal relationships between these characters. And those are my favorite type of Pixar films, are the films that look at something much deeper, where kids will just enjoy the characters, they'll enjoy the goofy sense of humor throughout the movie, but they'll also end up pulling something really important out of it. And that's what I really enjoyed about this film. The animation style was really unique. There were things about it I didn't love, but I still thought it was a cool enough different spin than what we're used to seeing. I feel like the past couple of years, a lot of the Pixar films have started to bleed together, even from Onward to Luca to, I saw the trailer to their new film that's about to come out, where the character designs and the way that these characters look are all very similar. They're kind of losing what as an animation studio has made them so unique over the years, which is every film you really had no idea what you were going to expect when it came to animation styles. But this one had interesting enough things that it kept me engaged. Obviously the setting is really beautiful, the color palettes in this thing are great. I was able to see it on an IMAX screen or AMC's Prime screen, whatever that is comparatively to IMAX, and it was really beautiful to look at. I thought all the vocal performances in this are great. As a huge fan of Adult Swim, it was really awesome for me that now it is canon in Pixar's universe that Joe Pera is going to be a character in that universe. He plays himself, essentially. The character Joe Pera plays himself in a way that is so wonderful, and it made me laugh. And this movie pulled at my heartstrings. Pixar does a really great job at making movies that make me very emotionally sappy. And this movie, at the beginning, it didn't have me 100%, and at about the 25-minute mark, it really hooked me, and the rest of the film did a really great job with its pacing, with its emotional arcs, and I thought that it was a really entertaining and engaging film. And if you are a fan of Pixar and you like these movies, you're gonna really enjoy Elemental. There's gonna be enough that you're gonna like it a lot more than the movies I said before that I felt like kind of fell short from what Pixar is known for. So have you seen Elemental? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was really really good. I really enjoyed myself. I thought the vocal performances were great. I thought it was really entertaining, and I actually really look forward to watching this one again. As always, if you like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.